Today's topic is all about how to build your own hitting workout. And today, I really wanted to talk about this because so many people are like, we have all these drills to do, we have a cage to work in, we have a tee, we have a net, but we don't really know how to put together a really prime and good workout. And today I'm going to give you basically the meat and potatoes on how to build your own workout. So like when you're practicing at home on your own, or when you're practicing in a cage nearby or in like a facility, you actually have the tools that you need to make it as great of a workout as you possibly can. So that's what today's topic's all about. I'm really stoked to basically share the knowledge that I have about creating workouts, creating lesson plans for specifically you, because anybody can have a great workout at home, and now it's just about making sure that you're using that time to the best of your ability and not just kind of like going through the motions, kind of seeing hopefully this stuff works. This is the stuff that works. Like, it's proven fact that this stuff works because I've been doing it for almost 3 years now with my kids, and we've seen massive results happen because this is how we structure it. So that's what today's topic is all about. With that, I want you to spend 5 minutes doing this. 1, reflect on where you're at. So when it comes to specific mechanics, or when it comes to your timing, when it comes to any aspect of being a hitter that's important, hitting, timing, mentality, grit. Like, there are so many elements of hitting that you can implement that you can either be really good at right now or kind of struggling with. So you got to kind of just see where you're at when it comes down to it. So what are you struggling with a little bit more than others? So that's going to be your answer to what you're going to hone in on mostly during your hitting workout. What's awesome is that you can have a hitting workout that's really, really gung-ho, down to the point, getting everything done. You can have it done in 15 minutes. You don't have to spend 2 hours on something in order to get better at it. You can spend a really good 10 to 15 minutes on something and get better at it if you're really specific on the things that you're working on. So let's just say your timing's off. Your timing's not that great. And you only have like a 30-minute window or a 15-minute window to go work on it. Here's what you can do. You know that timing's the issue, so that's the very first thing. You need to be able to do some sort of a warm-up before you start taking your daddy hacks, okay? I'm just going to say that now because a lot of people, they just think that from, getting out of their freezing cold car straight to their hitting lesson, that they should be swinging at 100 miles per hour as soon as they start the lesson or whatever it is that they're going to do. Do not do that. Do not go straight into a workout and swing at 100% right away, because you are more likely to get injured if you do that. So you need to spend a good 5 minutes at least on a warm-up. So the warm-up that I do, and it's a specific warm-up that I've actually been doing since high school. I was taught this by my hitting coach, is we go through the 9-spot hitting zone. So we do 5 swings at each of the 9 spots. So this is what it looks like. And I'm literally just gonna draw it on my piece of paper and show you. So when you think about it, if pitchers and catchers, you probably know what the 9 hitting zones are. But specifically, there's a high and inside pitch, high and inside, middle inside, low inside, high middle, middle middle, low middle, and then high outside, middle outside, low outside. And so basically, it kind of looks like this. Oh, I literally just put a hole in my paper, an even bigger hole in my paper now. But this is specifically what it is. So these are the 9 hitting zones. Hopefully you guys can see them. But that's specifically what it is. So let's just say this is the inside. So high, middle, low. High, middle, low is the middle part of the plate, and then outside. So that's the hitting zone. So what you're supposed to do, or what you should do in a warm-up to be very productive with it, is set at the tee in each of those zones, okay? Set at the tee in each of those 9 hitting zones. Now, when you're doing this, and I'm getting specific because there's so many people that don't actually know how to do this or what this actually means. But for, let's say, a down the middle pitch, you should be hitting that pitch where you have the most power, and that's right by where your front foot is located. So I have a pretty wide stance, but a place where I get to really good contact to make sure my arms are still bent at contact, that tee is located right where my front foot is located. And even though I have a wide stance, I still have pretty long arms to be able to get to it, but make sure you have a good bend at your elbows where you're setting up, okay? And where you're actually making contact with the pitch. So when I'm doing the 3 zones that are right down the middle of the plate, that tee is lined up in the very heart and center right by my front foot, okay? So once I do 5, 10, 15 balls there, then I move inside, okay? And now when I go inside, my job is to put that tee a little bit further out in front. Because if I try to hit that inside pitch in the same spot that tee was located down the middle, I'm going to jam myself and not really have much control or power or gap between my elbows. And you want a gap between your elbows because this is where you're gonna hit that power. You're gonna get to the ball and get through the ball here. So in order to get, a good gap between your elbows on the inside pitch, you're gonna need to move that tee forward just a little bit, okay? And just a little bit could be this much, but that's the difference between making sure that gap's happening and then getting through the ball after contact. So when you're working on the inside, low, middle, high, those 15 pitches should be located a little bit further out in front, okay? And by the way, as you're taking these swings, if you have done the math, now we're at 30 swings. So we've done 15 in the middle, 15 inside because we're doing high, middle, and low, and then we're gonna end with outside. I always end with the one that I struggle with the most because I'm gonna spend a little bit more extra time on that spot because in order to get better at something, you have to spend more time doing it. So when I go through the outside pitches, I make sure that that tee is not located where my front foot is. It's not out in front of me anymore. It's actually a little bit deeper in my stance, okay? If that tee is deeper in my stance, I like to say I want it maybe just in front of where my belly button is, because when I'm in that spot, I'm still able to get to that outside pitch and be nice and strong and have that gap between my elbows, okay? So that's a really good spot. I like to say just in front of where your elbow is, a little bit closer. So not in the center of my body, but just a little bit closer to that pitcher, just so I can make sure I can get a good barrel on it and get that pitch where it needs to be hit so I can get behind it and get through it, okay? So that's where I line up the tee for that pitch. So if you've done the math, we're now at 45 swings, okay? Before we even start a lesson, before we even start going into our 100% swings, all out swings, I do 45 swings. And the swings that I take at the very beginning versus the ones that I take closer to the 45 mark, those are gonna be hit harder towards the end. So I start off nice and loose, nice and slow, nice and relaxed. And then as I keep getting more swings in, I'm starting to speed up, speed up, speed up. So by the end of my actual warm up, I'm hitting at 100% and I'm ready to go and my body is warm. So you wanna be warm when you're playing, when you're hitting, okay? So before you even get into the dirty work, make sure you work on the 9 tee hitting zones. That's something that I do every single lesson. That's what I tell my online trainings to do before they even get into the drills that I send them. Now with that, when you're doing this, it's not just to do it to get you warm, okay? It does get you warm, but it also has a dual purpose, the tee warm up. It's getting you into the right positioning so that your mechanics are being worked on every single time that you hit. So let's say we're focusing that training, that lesson on the inside pitch because we're working on the inside pitch, we're struggling with it, but because you're working on the inside pitch, you never actually get to the outside pitch if that happens. So make sure, that warm up is to make sure you're getting into the right body position for every single pitch that you're getting, whether it's down the middle, high, medium, low, whether it's inside, high, medium, low, or outside, high, medium, low. You're putting yourself into the right mechanics to make yourself hit those pitches well. And I'll tell you, if you don't like the high and outside pitch and the first swing that you take off the tee for the high and outside is awful, you have 4 more swings to help figure out to get better every single swing and make adjustments. So by the time you take that 5th swing, you feel better about that pitch because you've taken the reps there. That was a really long opener to the 9 tee hitting warm up, but I won't put as much emphasis on the rest of this lesson. But that's super, super important to me, is to make sure you're putting yourself in the right positioning for each and every pitch. So you're driving it by that 5th ball that you hit. Now, from there, we may have to pull up YouTube, okay? We may have to pull up YouTube. If you don't have a library of drills that are stuck here, like me, I'm a hitting coach, I have to have some here, and I've had these here since I started picking up a softball bat. But if you don't have a library of drills, YouTube does, okay? YouTube, which is also why I started a YouTube channel, is to give you guys some drills to work on if you needed it. But think about it, that is a library of drills. If you just type in, let's say, timing drills, softball, I guarantee you a bunch of things are gonna pop up for timing drills. If you work on, and I have a couple drills on my channel, if you guys wanna check it out, it's just type in my name and you'll be able to find me. But there are drills everywhere. I have the extension drill, I have a knee down drill. So basically a lower half, upper half. If you want to work on, one arm drills, timing, like I said, if you want to work on getting more out of your lower half, there's so many drills. You just kind of have to get creative on what you type in. But whatever it is that you're struggling with, there are drills out there to help you with it. So there are libraries out there to help you get better at those specific drills. So with that, go to YouTube and find something. And here's the thing, those people that are posting those videos, and I'm not telling you just to look at mine. I look up videos on other people's channels all the time. But I subscribe to the channels that have the best videos. Because when I assign a specific, like if I analyze a swing and I say, hey, you need to work on a timing drill, I have specifically gone to someone else's channel on YouTube and said, hey, watch this video. This is the drill that I want you to work on, okay? So I'm not even using my own content for my online trainings all the time. What I'm doing is I'm going to someone else's channel because that video is a really well executed video that can help somebody else. With that, once we find that drill that's going to work on something that we're struggling with, our job is to go execute the drill, okay? Easy peasy. This is what you're going to do in your actual lesson. So whether it's a T drill, whether it's a timing drill off of front toss, start with the basics. So a lot of times I'm posting T drills because I love the T so much, and you can put the ball specifically where you want to work on the specific pitch. So a lot of times I start on the tee with a T drill, and what I do from there is I master that drill. I make sure I have at least 10 balls, close to 10 balls where I'm just absolutely crushing it. Once I get a good feel for that drill and feel like I've worked on it well, I make the drill harder by doing it off of some sort of a front toss or a side toss or something where the ball is now moving. Because if you just live off of T drills and you don't work on doing the drills on a moving ball, the drills are actually not going to benefit you as much as you would hope they would. So the key is take whatever drill that you do off of a tee or a simple drill off a front toss and elevate it, make it harder by moving the actual ball, okay? So if one of the timing drills that you're working on is off a front toss, your job is to do really well off of that timing drill off a front toss. And once you start grooving and feeling good, your rhythm's good, make it harder, okay? This is the next part. Make the drill harder by moving the ball faster. So if you're doing a timing drill, if you have a pitcher or a coach that can throw you like a live arm, which is like one of the coolest, like I love live arm because now you can actually see the ball out of a pitcher's hands. Work on some live arm, work on your timing now with a tougher pitch, with a faster pitch. So if you're doing, let's say, the 3-plate timing drill off a front toss, that's great, but the ball's not moving very fast, and you elevate that, you're now working harder on that drill. So it made the drill harder. So you're working on your rhythm, you're working on your timing, you're working on making sure you're making great contact where you need to be making great contact. I want you to end every single lesson with some sort of a challenge, okay? And if you guys don't know how to challenge yourselves off a front toss or off of tee, I have a couple ideas. I have 3 of them. So with that, the first one, you could do a simple point game. So you have 3 ways of being able to score points for yourself, okay? The first one is if you hit a hard line drive, count that as 2 points. If you hit a hard ground ball, like something that's gonna scream through the infield and get through the infield, that's 1 point. Now, if you hit a pop-up or a weak ground ball, something like that, make that be -1. So let's say you go through 5 or 10 balls. Your job is to keep track of your score. So if you hit 2 line drives in a row, you're sitting at 4. And then you hit a pop-up, you subtract 1 from there. So now you have 3. Okay, so just go through the cycle and maybe go through 2 times to see if your next cycle can be better than your last. So that's a way to challenge yourself and work up points and score yourself. One other one that I love off of the tee is back wall line drive. So if you're able to get into, let's say, like a cage or a tee or a net, sorry, I couldn't even think of it. So if you're able to do that, let's focus on the very back wall. Like normally it's like a rectangle. Let's focus on hitting line drives off of the tee into that back wall. If you do that, focus on trying to make sure it's a line drive there that doesn't hit the bottom, doesn't hit the sides, and doesn't hit the top on its way there. So simple line drive off the tee into the back wall. Let's say you hit, I don't know, like 10 balls and you're shooting to hit at least 5 as line drives. That's how you can challenge yourself and see how many you can hit into the back wall. Or you can do the same thing as the one before that and you can say, okay, I'm gonna do 2 rounds of 10. My job is to make sure my second round of 10 is better than my first. Simple way to do it. If you're hitting with someone else, challenge yourself against them. Be like, alternate every single shot. Let's see, if you get a point, I'm gonna work to get a point too. If I get a point, you're gonna work to get a point, and just kind of cycle through there. These are ways you can challenge yourself all the time. And the last one that I'm just gonna give you, there's so many other challenges you can give yourself, but do 5 hard hits in a row, okay? So let's say you're hitting off a front toss and you cannot leave the cage until you've hit 5 hard in a row. Because I'm telling you, once you hit 4, there's like this added pressure of, ooh, one more, that's all I gotta get, one more. And a lot of people, they add a little bit more pressure on themselves from the 4th to the 5th. So do me a favor and focus on what the first 4 felt like and try to recreate that on the 5th. Because we add this like internal pressure on that 5th ball because you know that that's all you need to leave. We add that internal pressure, which is also a similar pressure to what you're going to get in the game. Okay, I hope this resonates, and I hope these are drills that you can go home and you can work on. That's pretty much all I had today. I'm really excited to see you guys implement these own strategies into your own hitting plans. So just a quick review, how you can spend 5 minutes before you put in a workout and put in a great workout. Reflect on where you're at, reflect on what you need help with the most. Start your lesson with 45 swings, so 5 balls in each of the 9 hitting zones. 3, oh, I didn't even mention this part. Spend an extra 10 reps on the spot that you need help with the most. So if you need help with that high and outside pitch, spend 10 more balls on that high and outside pitch off the tee and work on getting your body in a good position to hit it. The 4, find a drill to work on that weak spot. So if you have to go to YouTube to find a good drill to work on whatever it is that you need help with, go to YouTube and find that drill. 5, elevate the drill and make it harder. So the tee drill that you just worked on, find a way to take that tee drill into a front toss, okay? And then you can implement that tee drill and work on, okay, what made me hit that ball so well off the tee? Let's go make it happen off a front toss. And for some drills that are really tough that you never even end up mastering in that one lesson, that's okay. You don't have to elevate to front toss. Just find a way to make that drill that you were working on just a little bit harder. And then 6, always make sure you end with some sort of a challenge. Don't just say, oh, I feel good, I'm done. Find a way to challenge yourself and to make a pressure situation happen before you end your workout, okay? I hope these are things that you guys go and do. Please let me know if you go about them and you go make them happen. With that, next week's episode is going to be what I look for in a swing. So kind of like how I break down, when I'm sent video for my online training, what are things that I'm looking at? I'm looking at things like posture. I'm looking at things like where you're hitting the ball, like we said earlier, specifically off the tee, like where are you actually making great contact, making sure we're balanced, making sure we're focusing on a very relaxed hands and a good posture, making sure our head's over our back knee, just specific stuff that I look for that you can look for in your own swings that can make you better. So that's what's going to be happening next week on the live, and I'm super stoked for it, and I hope you guys tune into it. If this is something that helped you, I would absolutely love if you shared it on your page. This was so much fun to create, and I love sharing a little bit of the things that I love teaching to you guys. And because I know that if you implement these things, if you go about this specific workout and create your own workouts for yourself, you are elevating not only yourself, but those around you that are at this hitting facility, watching you crush it, watching you work on your own craft. It seriously is contagious. So focus on how can you make every single lesson or every single workout that you put into your game the best it can be. Go through these 5 steps, and I guarantee you're going to be a better player after every single session that you put into your craft. Okay? With that, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next week when we talk about what are the things I look for in a solid swing. All right? With that, see you guys later. Bye.